Hello guys, today we're gonna be doing what if Deku was a Night King or King Knight, you can say. And I don't really have anything else to say, so yeah, let's just hop right in. We started off with Deku going to the cork doctor like usual, and pretty much everything goes close to the same, but this time Deku is diagnosed with a quirk. This quirk is literally called King Knight, and his abilities are to first, which is the ability to have his own sword, which I'm going to call Excalibur because Arthur, not very famous knight, King Arthur, and has shown up in a lot of different series. So yeah, that just gonna use that, and I'm gonna be using different like what's the word powers and abilities from certain versions of him, certain versions of characters, that that he possess stuff like that. Anyway, so his first ability is like his mastery at swordsmanship, and he's able to actually summon an Excalibur, and it's able to go invisible, and be and just reappear like normal. Like he will be able to use the weapon. Like, sorry for the background noise. He'll be able to use the weapon, but it's invisible to others, and he will be able to summon armor, and he will have superhuman abilities. Obviously, that should be pretty obvious, and he will be able to cause large scale attacks with his invisible sword, or if he wants to make it visible, which makes it even more powerful. That and since he is the king of knights, eh, sorry for the background noise again. Every time he defeats somebody, not killing them, but just defeats them, he's able to summon a copied version of them, but in knight's armor and whatever weapon they were using. Or if they didn't have a weapon, they would immediately go into a sword. It would he would pretty much be able to summon a variant of them in knight armor and with whatever weapon they were carrying. But he has to defeat them in order to do that. So that means either knock them unconscious, or smack their weapon away until they can't fight back. And yeah, they will possess their quirks, and Deku has full control over them and is able to send them out to do what he wants them to do. And this is a extremely powerful quirk for having such abilities. After he gets told this, Deku gets happy, and he says, he asks his mom if he can be a hero, which she says yes. And once they go home, they go to school the next day, and this is when Deku's attitude starts getting affected or his quirk starts affecting Deku's attitude. Actually, he starts talking about honor in a knight's code, which he wouldn't even know of if sorry he wouldn't even know of, because he's 4 years old, and this confuses himself, but he just goes along with it, and he tells them the kids at school about his quirk, and they say, wow, it's a strong quirk. But and Baku is like, yeah, but it is a strong quirk, but it's not flashy, and it's probably weaker than, or it's weaker than his explosions. That's what Bakugo says, or it's weaker than my explosions, Bakugo says. And Deku then says, yeah, okay. And the next day, or after school, sorry, he walks up to Inko and asks to do kendo classes, which she agrees to, because his quirk basically focuses on swordship. or swordsmanship, sorry. And a few days later, when once he gets to the dojo, he's put into basic classes, and Deku actually acts as one of the kid, uh, kids that are actually in a higher rank than him. Uh, let's see, spar, and they all figured out Deku was a prodigy after seeing how he easily mastered the basics in or like easily memorized the basics with in a day. So he after Deku challenges this kid, he the kid thinks, oh, he's gonna beat him easily. He's gonna beat Deku easily, but on the contrary, once the fight begins, Deku immediately tells the kid to prepare his sword once the fight starts, and the kid get rushes at Deku. Deku immediately blocks his first strike and counters with ease and swift movements. And when he counters, he immediately chops him on the back of his neck with the wooden sword that he's using, because they're obviously using that. Yeah, not using real sword. Sorry, and everybody's shocked, and Deku continues to challenge people over the week that he's in there, and he beats everybody, even challenging the teachers, which he beats them. And this is when he figures out how to summon his knights. And when he summons them, they're not actually the size of the people that he's taken down. No, they're his size. And he's confused, but he's sorry, but he thinks maybe they'll grow once he becomes the age that was the age, or god damn it, when once he becomes older they'll probably grow. And he actually starts sparring against his knights, and having them spar against each other, trying to have them get stronger. Deku pretty much went to dojo, trying to just testing his strength. And after a few months of having his quirk and going to dojo, destroying people, he actually ends up wanting to go to a tournament. And before the tournament, he ends up finding out how to summon Excalibur, and he finds out it's that it's invisible. He just knew that the doctors knew that he could summon a sword, but they didn't know it was going to be invisible. And then Deku thinks to himself, maybe he can make it visible, and he does. He makes everybody can see it, and it's a really cool looking sword. Hold on, give me a second. And I'm sorry for that, being gone, but anyway, yeah, he finds out how to summon Excalibur, and once he holds Excalibur, he can feel the immense power of Excalibur itself, and he wants to test it out, but he still has to go to the towards the tournament. So he continues pretty much beating everybody until the final opponent. And what should we name this person? Hold on, give me a second. I'm gonna switch this real quick. Come on. All right, we're just gonna name this character Zoro. How about that? Yeah, that's fine. Anyway, this this person he's about to fight, he gets prepared, and when they start fighting, Deku actually notices how powerful he actually is. He's not weak in any way, and he's actually going toe to toe with him. Yeah, Deku is not going all out, but the other guy doesn't look like he's going all out either. Deku starts using more power, same with the other guy, Zoro, and they continue to keep going, and keep using more and more power, and until Zoro decides to use his quirk, which they are allowed to use, but they just haven't used it yet. And let's say his quirk is a speed type quirk. It's not like as fast as the Ida family, but or the the Ida family. Yeah, yeah, that's what the last name is, right? Yeah, yeah. It's not as fast as the Ida family, but it's a pretty. He's pretty fast. He's not slow, and since they were already moving at pretty fast speeds, I'm talking like like how Stain was moving. They were moving at his speed, which is not slow, and he starts to use this quirk, and Deku is like, okay, wow, he's actually extremely strong and skilled. So Deku says to him, "You are, strong and powerful. You are worthy of my full power." And this is when Deku pretty much goes all out and disappears from his vision, completely shocking Zoro, and then Zoro's body drops down, and he fell unconscious because Deku pretty much speed blitzed him and hit him in the back of his neck, knocking him out. And this shocked everybody that how much power he had. And then Deku says he will be a nice night, and then he starts walking away. And then when he gets home, he goes into a forest trying to test out Excalibur. And if he causes any damage to the forest, like insane damage to the forest, he's planning on paying it because since he's been to a few tournaments, he's won a decent amount of money. So if he did destroy the forest, he would be able to pay. And yeah, when he picks up Excalibur, or he starts wielding Excalibur and swings down with like as much power as humanly possible, just going all out and trying to use the sword completely. The whole forest gets flashed in yellow light, and it explodes and pretty much disintegrates, which shocks. Gets shocked at his own strength, and he says, "Okay, I gotta pay people back for this," and he does. And yeah, we skip a few years, into the future, where Deku, has pretty much become famous for his sword skills. Nobody really knows what his quirk is, but they just think he's a really good swordsman. And Deku has two knights, or two strong knights at his command. One is Zoro, and the other one is his damn it. Zoro is his second in command, and the other one is one of his general. His name is Natsu. How about that? Yeah, Natsu. And Deku has both of these knights, and they're pretty strong. They're not weak in any category. And Deku, goes to school like normal, like how it goes it can, but doesn't get bullied because he has a decent quirk. In their eyes, it's not extremely strong, even though it really is. Sorry. Deku then proceeds Deku then proceeds to go and damn it, why can't I think straight right now? Sorry, yeah. The day pretty much continues as normal, but Deku does not get bullied. And at the end of the day, um, Deku, sorry, not Deku. The teacher walks in and, or not walks in, sorry. He starts talking about job applications, and everybody's just paying attention. And then he says, "I'm just kidding. I know you all want to be heroes," while throwing the papers up in the air. And everybody starts using their quirks besides Deku and Bakugo. And Deku then, or not Deku, sorry. The teacher then continues saying everybody you need to settle down, and then he says 2 people want to try for UA, and the first person he says is Bakugo, and Bakugo, gets up and says the same exact thing he does in canon, which is, I'm not even gonna try doing a Bakugo impression. Anyway, he says, "Yeah, I'm gonna get into UA, no sweat," and then continues saying, all you losers are not gonna become heroes. You'll be lucky to to join some busted D-lister." And everybody starts yelling at Bakugo except for Deku, and then because Deku's ignoring them. And then the teacher says, "Oh, Deku, you wanna go to or Izuki, you wanna go to UA?" And Deku says, or Deku just looks at him and nods, and everybody is like, "I guess he can get in or try for UA, but he's probably not gonna get in." Everybody agreeing, and then school ends, and Bakugo walks up to Deku saying that why would he even try? All he's good at is using a sword, and Deku says okay, and then continues walking. This response pisses off Bakugo, but he just lets it go because he already knows that Deku's gonna fail, or thinks that Deku's gonna fail the exam. So yeah, Deku walks home and he says he's gonna train harder, and he's gonna have his nice train harder, and which he does. He mainly has Natsu and Zoro fight each other while he goes into tournaments, collecting more knights and pretty much building his kind of like an empire. When you think about it, because there's a lot of swordsmen. There's not a little, and yes, he has fought people. He has fought people that use other weapons, or that have no weapons at all. So he has a lot of people under his belt. Actually, over 1,000. He's fought that many people, and it's to be expected over over 14. No, not 14. Sorry, 10 years. Over 10 years, you professionally, or you go to a whole bunch of tournaments professionally. Then yeah, of course you would fight more than 1,000 people within 14 years. So yeah, I'm gonna say he has 1,500 people or 500 knights, which is not pretty nice for him. And once Deku, or after the 10 months or over, sorry, and he after the 10 months are over, he goes to UA. Oh, bro, how did I forget about the Sledgehammer incident? I completely forgot about that. Let's say he just doesn't go that way, just to make stuff simpler, because I'm not giving him one for all. That's just unnecessary, and I don't really. Well, I might give it to him, but that'll have to be later on in the story. I doubt he would accept it. Anyway, Deku goes to UA, and once he walks, or while he's walking there, he hears somebody calling his name, and it's Bakugo. Bakugo starts yelling at him, saying why he's here and that he's useless and stuff, and Deku's just completely ignoring him, and because he's pretty much used to Bakugo's attitude. Every time he tried to talk to Bakugo in a nice way, Bakugo just starts yelling even more. So it's no use. And yeah, Deku continues, and then Bakugo actually almost trips while yelling at Deku because he wasn't paying attention. And a girl appears about to touch Bakugo, but Bakugo blasts, put his hand forward, blasting himself back up, and he continues walking while yelling at Deku, making everybody think he's a weirdo, and Deku continues into the building, ignoring Bakugo completely. And the girl was confused, but she said okay, and just ignored Bakugo's yelling. And everything pretty much goes the same, besides Ida calling out Deku because Deku has no reason to be called out. He would just be paying attention. And Deku gets a pretty high score on the written portion because Deku's not dumb. And then Deku could sorry. And after that, we're gonna go into the physical portion. And once the gates open in the physical portion, Deku completely disappears and starts destroying robots. It looks like a massacre. While everybody's amazing, they're watching Deku massacre a whole bunch of freaking robots with an invisible weapon, which confuses them. Then they're like, wait, isn't he cheating? But then President Mike comes over on the intercoms and says that there's no goals in a real battle, and then he continues saying, "Go, go, go!" Everybody then rushes out, seeing Deku continuously disappearing and reappearing, destroying robots with an invisible weapon, and then Deku just abruptly stops, and then four knights come out. Two of his strongest, which is Zoro and Natsu, and two other knights that are actually pretty decently strong. And he says to them, Deku says, go destroy as many robots as possible, and if you see any people that need help or need to be saved, do that as well. And they all nod, and then pretty much disappear from everybody's sight, and then just reappears to start destroying robots and helping people. Deku then continues to destroy robots, and Nez is actually intrigued about his quirk. So he asks Aizawa for Deku's final, saying that he's extremely impressive, and he's getting a high. He's probably gonna have an extremely high score, being able to summon those knights, and even able to move beyond normal human speeds, beyond normal humans' perception. Sorry. And Aizawa says, "Yeah, it looks like we're gonna have a whole bunch of geniuses." And yeah, Deku or not Deku, All Might is in this waiting room too with all the other heroes or all the other teachers, and they're shocked at Deku and his pure raw ability. And then as he asks what that invisible weapon he's carrying seems to be, isn't it like a support item? And Aizawa says no, it seems to be a part of his quirk as well as the knights that he summons. And then Aizawa continues saying that his quirk is called Night King, and then explains his abilities, and this intrigues Nezu to a completely different level. Then he says, "I want to see his full power. Summon the 0 pointer, and the 0 pointer, they let the 0 pointer out, and he starts destroying and trying to attack the people, everybody, and or not attack, but he starts walking pretty much, and Deku feels the shakes in the ground, and is immediately prepared to fight whatever comes towards him. And yes, he's able to summon knights out of it, like robots and stuff that he defeats that technically counts as an opponent. And that does not mean he can just be beaten on plates and stuff like that. That stuff that can't fight back. That doesn't mean that he can get soldiers out of that. That would be a hella cheap way, but we're not gonna talk about that. No, he does not do that, and it's not possible. But yes, he can. After he defeats a robot, it does count as him gaining another knight. But they just have no core. It's just another soldier. The Deku's pretty much been destroying so many robots with his other knights that they continuously light a whole bunch of robots, and this is when or after the 0 pointer makes his entrance, and Deku starts running towards the 0 pointers, getting ready to make sure first off no one's hurt, and to defeat it because it might be a worthy opponent. And once Deku sees the 0 pointer, and then he looks down like to his foot, to the under the 0 pointer's foot, and the 0 pointer is about to crush a girl, and Deku immediately gets into a stance, and his sword immediately becomes visible, and then he uses Excalibur's. Oh, sorry, give me a second. Alright, sorry for that. Anyway, as I was saying, uh, Deku's sword then becomes visible, and he raises his sword up, and his sword then starts to glow, and it starts to become larger and larger, and it becomes so large to the point where it pierces the sky. And this happens within a few seconds, and then Deku, while swinging his sword down, yells Excalibur, and then it hits the robot, destroying it instantly once it clashed with Deku's attack, and completely destroys the robot. And while the robot pieces start to scatter around, he summons a whole bunch of knights to rescue anybody that's about to get hit by the falling debris, which they start to do. And Deku pretty much goes straight to the girl that was about to get crushed, but she's not now. He rushes to her and asks, is she okay after picking her up? She says she's fine, and she might not be able to walk. That's the only thing she might not be able to do. And then he says okay, and while he picks her up and starts carrying her, and this is when Recovery Girl pops out, and sorry about that. Anyway, Deku. Oh my god, I'm sorry. Hold on, I'm so sorry, guys. All right, hold on. Anyway, Deku then proceeds to bring her to Recovery Girl, which she appears, and she, starts healing her rocket, telling Deku, or saying to Deku, thank you. And Deku accepts her thanks and then starts, um, then starts walking away. And once Deku starts walking away, or starts walking home, sorry, he gets home, goes home, everything goes pretty much as normal. And until he gets his acceptance letter a few days later from UA. And once he gets it, he's a bit happy, what he knew that he was going to get into UA. And he said, or once he opens the letter, a damn it, what is it called? Damn it. Pretty much those communication things. I can't remember what they're called. Damn it. But like it shows in a video that pretty much plays. Anyway, video plays, and All Might's up there on the thing, and he tells Deku that he got the highest score, getting over 400 points on the exam, just destroying that many robots. And then he got over 170 hero points, saving tons of people with his knights. And Deku's happy about this. And yeah, a few days later he gets to go to UA, and he goes to UA. He goes to UA for his first day, and when he gets there, he sees a large, he enters the building, then goes to his classroom, which is 1A, and then he sees a large door for the 1A door. And he's like, are there people really that big here? He proceeds to open the door to see Bakugo and Ida arguing, and Deku just completely ignores them. And, everybody else, looks at him. And then a guy with blonde hair walks up to him saying, hey, aren't you the guy that destroyed the 0-pointer in one blow and had that amazing sword? And this is when everybody in the entire classroom turns their attention to him. And Deku says, yes, I did do those things. And then a boy with red and white hair look towards him and say, who's he? Or thinks, who is he? And Deku then goes to sit down, and everybody, walks up to him, bombarding him with questions. And Deku says, is answering a lot of his questions, like how is he that good with a sword, and how is he able to summon knights, and stuff like that. And then this is when Aizawa walks in, as Aizawa walks in, and then he tells everybody to shut up, and everybody does, and they sit down, and he pretty much says the same stuff that he does in canon, telling them to go outside. And once they get outside, Deku then proceeds, or not Deku. Once they go outside, they once I go outside, they grab. Damn it! Why? Why do I keep saying them? No, not they or them. Aizawa comes out with a ball in his hand, and then he says, "The person with the top ranking spot walk up first. Bakugo, starts walking up, but then Aizawa says, "Get back, Bakugo. You didn't get first on the entrance exam." And this confused Bakugo, and then he says, "Izuku Midoriya." Alright, hold on, I'm gonna have to end this video off here. Yeah, I know it was abruptly, but peace out everybody, and goodbye.